But let's head into the papers now, see what the headlines are across Nigeria. And I have with me in the studio a journalist, Charles Ideho, in the studio, and in-house analyst, Dr. Okpeyemi Ashaolu. Gentlemen, nice to see you both.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Great. Let's begin with the News Direct this morning. News Direct is where we start from. And the first story, the story here says, Buhari orders evacuation of Nigerians from South Africa. That's the story on the front page of News Direct. From there, let's go to the New Telegraph. He also focuses on xenophobia, and he says how to end attacks on Nigerians by ASU. That's ASU is proffering some solutions there. And Buhari orders immediate evacuation of Nigerians, and federal government to enroll returnees in social program, and NIDCOM 640 eager to return from South Africa. The numbers keep increasing. Those who want to return from Nigerians who want to return from South Africa. All right, let's go to Daily Trust now. Daily Trust says prices of food items, others rise as borders remain shut. Closure has reduced petrol smuggling. NNPC is revealing this. All right, from Daily Trust, let's go to Daily Times. Ashura procession. DSS police shite set for showdown. And your planned procession acts of terrorism. DSS police warn the Islamic movement in Nigeria. Annual march, religious constitutional rights group claims. Okay, that's there's a face-off there between the IMN and the security agencies. From the Daily Times, let's go to Blueprint. Blueprint is the next one now, and the focus is on xenophobia. Buhari receives special envoy's report, orders evacuation of Nigerians, and attacks threats to Africa's economic growth. 640 Nigerians eager to return. The presidency is saying that, and Edo Deputy Governor hails Buhari's quick response. You find all that on the front page of the Blueprint. Okay. Now, from there, let's go to the Vanguard now. Vanguard says South Africans plan ambush for returning Nigerians. That's what you see on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. The Nation is next, and he says Buhari to South Africa, stop attacks on Nigerians, and air peace to bring back 320 people tomorrow. Okay, so far we hear that about 640 Nigerians are ready to return, and the Consul General, the Consulate of Nigeria in Johannesburg, is still taking stock of more Nigerians who are willing to come home. Gentlemen, the xenophobia has been on the international front burner for the past week now, and a lot of people have been commending the federal government on the quick response and the magnitude of the response and the dimension of the response and so on. Charles, let me start with you here. Others have said that social media has escalated, so to say, the issue beyond where it is. What's your comment on that?
But I think escalated the world or has helped.
Oh, helped?
Yes, I think.
Not escalated.
No, not escalated.
Because some of the videos that went that are going viral, that some people say are from the xenophobia.
Rwanda and all that.
Exactly. Things that have happened long ago.
But they may not be desirable. As a media man, we're supposed to cross-check facts before we run them. But whether I like it or not, it has its own economic value. Okay. It has its own value or nuisance value, if you will, that it has been able to jolt the government or action. And perhaps if it has not gone this haywire, it may not have attracted the attention of government speedily as we have it now. Okay. If we have run in, if it had been a run-of-the-mill reporting, I think maybe the government would have seen it very seriously. But when people began to now fly videos that were not even connected to xenophobia, actually it made the government to sit up, and then now the response has been very quick, and thank God for what's happening now.
All right. Commendations are also coming in for government when it comes to sending a plane to South Africa to bring back those who are willing to come back. 2 days ago, we hear there were about 400 Nigerians who put their names down wanting to return. Now the number has increased to 640. Yeah. What's your take on this?
Well, that shows the response of our government. And then another thing is the willingness on the part of those who are there that, okay, well, I have my business, I've been here for 20 years, I've been here for this and that, maybe I've been married to a South African lady or something, that, well, it's only when you are alive that you can think of a business. Exactly. It's only when you are alive that you can think of a family. So I commend government in the first place that, well, let's bring these people home. And then the question I asked myself was, what would these individuals be doing? And I think I read some comments while reading some of the news stories at night that, well, from the opposition party that, well, some of those things were directed to the vice president that don't use trader money to, like this. And then you like try to people are funny, they are politicizing this issue as well. Oh, so it's one thing that, well, people are trying to come back and then, getting themselves integrated into the system. Fine, being at home may not be easy, quote and unquote. As in for those who are here, that when the question will be like, what the people that have been home all these years, what have they been doing? A lot of people are still looking for a job, and then another 640 are coming back to do what? Is it into trading? But well, the government said they are going to engage them in social development program. I think that's commendable. Oh,
okay. Now, Charles, the point there is, when these people come home, because from where Okwe just said now, when they come home, there's a lot of concern, although we don't know yet if these people are coming home temporarily. We don't know who falls in what category. Those who are coming home permanently or those who are coming home temporarily, to ensure that tensions calm down before they return, depending on where they live and all of that. But when they are home, what concerns would you have as to how to have them engaged?
Well, first, I just hope that this engagement will be far-reaching. Far-reaching enough that it can actually, it may not substitute what they were doing over there, but it can also help to assuage their feelings that indeed the government of the country cares for them. I wouldn't want a situation whereby it will now become what happened to the Libyan returnee that were put in a kind of a camp. I think most of them were hungry. They said they were neglected, and it was like they were put in a prison sort of. But I just hope that when they're brought in, you do proper profiling and then ask some of them what they would like to do. Not just the government planning something for them, because what government may be planning for them may not be what they actually want. So government needs to ask them. Some of them who are trading, what kind of training do you want to invest in? So government can take the bill. Or if some of them who are qualified, they want to work, for instance, maybe empower someone. So government can engage them as a stopgap. Because I can make a prophecy here today that out of the 640, if they did come, give them 3 months, half of them will return.
Back to South Africa.
Back to South Africa. And you go put that down as a prophecy. That's exactly how desperate people are to leave the country. But even if you say you want to repair the country and then the economy is booming and so on, people must have a reason to leave the country. And it is their right. But if they feel safe to return, as government is doing, but don't just plan for them. Somebody who needs, for instance, if you're a community that doesn't need water, you're putting water, there is a waste. Exactly. So you must ask them what they want, then you do it according to their needs.
Okay. All right, that's striking the right chord.
Yes.
Now, but the point there is the president is scheduled to be in South Africa in October.
Yes.
And he'll be meeting with the president, Cyril Ramaphosa. What would you expect to see when it comes to president-to-president engagement and how to put an end to some of these issues that recur almost every year?
I think our president really needs to speak, frankly to the president of South Africa in this regard. That it's not news again that Nigeria really did what is expected of her when they were when they had the problem of apartheid. Yeah. And I could remember even in secondary school then how you sang about it, how some maybe older generation than ours contributed money, to help
South Africa out of that place.
Chase apartheid out of South Africa. And then you now try to look at it. I could remember we've done a lot of stories about how we've been able to, how even Nigerian pop musicians, as in secular musicians, wax record to do this and to help them.
Kusun all of that. One that we can't forget.
I can't forget Collington and all of them. All of them, as in many of them did a lot of things. And then you now look at that, we are not in this situation, and then we are being treated like this. You now find out that some South Africans, I was reading a public a condemnation by an elder of another political party that, well, this is wrong. This should be condemned, and that's what I expected our president to do. That, well, tell the president of South Africa that, well, this you have your investment in in Nigeria. You have your people living in this country, and you can see the way the Nigerian security agency responded to what happened at Lekki.
Yes.
You know, that, well, that we won't condemn
and
this
some of the
in our
shopping
country.
malls and South African interests around.
Some people, those who are outside the country, like, see now, Nigerians are being killed in South Africa. Now, Nigerians are now trying to, like, respond to what their brothers are facing, and then Nigerians are using police to kill their whatever. And just like, we won't condone such acts in our country. So the president of our country needs to tell the president of South Africa that, sir, please, this is not right. And we can't continue. Our people will still continue to live in this country. And your people will continue to live in your country too.
All right. Now, this headline right now on Vanguard, Charles, I wonder how much of a concern is this to you? Because the point there is, we hear that as Nigerians are planning to leave, some of them who are planning to leave, there are also plans by, you remember on Sunday, there was a protest, you know, by renewed protest by some South Africans against
one person was
all
killed.
of that. Yes. Now, how much of a concern is this to you?
But for me, I think this is, as an editor who casts headlines, this is commercial headline. I see it.
Commercial?
Yes, it's commercial because you are asking people to leave your country and then they are willing to leave. What kind of ambush is that? I think it's sensational. So I would rather not dwell too much on it as something that is very serious. And the South African planning an ambush for returning Nigerian ambush in what they're going to prevent them from coming, or if you're going to cause injury to them or something. So for me, that's why I said I wouldn't want to dwell because I think it's commercial. It's also sensational. Right. That's the way I see it, honestly.
Okay. So not only Nigeria is responding to the xenophobic attacks and on all the issues coming out from South Africa, Mozambique,
Tanzania,
Togo, Rwanda, Tanzania, Zambia, they have all reacted in different ways, either on the football pitch or from government and all of that. Now, how much of pressure would this put on the president, Cyril Ramaphosa, to act? Because he's been criticized for not acting or being decisive all the while.
It's going to be a lot of pressure on him. I can imagine that, okay, well, a president in this kind of whatever, and he's been having a running battle with the opposition party. Those guys are always in red t-shirts. You know, he's been having issues with Malema and these guys, and then you are now having that. It's as if you are not a round peg in the square. Like, well, you are not fit to be there if you cannot quench this kind of protest, and people have been doing
qualified.
this. You know, when you now look at it, that what kind of ambush would people be planning? You know, people are planning to leave your country. What else do you want?
Exactly.
They are planning to leave your country
because you said they should
leave, and they want to
now
leave.
they are ready to leave. So what's the ambush
You said they are taking your women. At least they won't be taking your women with them. Maybe they will leave your women behind when they are leaving. So what
do you know that even Kenya said that South Africa should borrow from the template of this issue of carrying women.
Okay.
Nigerians were actually carrying Kenyan women. Kenyan men said they now up their game. Now they are not getting their women back.
Now, a lot of videos came out from South Africa, especially when it comes to the issue of women. And they all confess that Nigerian men are best for them.
And even South African women have actually even condemned this. I was watching one early this morning on the radio. The lady appeared on the radio station, and she said, see, these Nigerian men are hardworking.
And also caring.
And they are caring.
And they spend the money.
They spend more money. And that these guys will marry their women who have given birth to 5 children from different men. And they will make them better women. And now if this is happening, and then you are not saying these guys are bad.
All right.
What authority do we have?
One said, please leave our Nigerian men alone. That's the South African woman say. Anyway, all this is on the lighter side now.
That's right.
Thank you very much, Dr. Okoye for coming on the program. And Charles Ideho, thank you very much. Thank you.
Now to take a look at stories making the headlines in Nigerian newspapers, I have with me in the studio journalist Charles Ideho and in-house analyst Cyril Abaku.
Thank you.
Good to see you, gentlemen. All right, let's head straight to the papers this morning, and I start with the News Direct. Buhari orders evacuation of Nigerians from South Africa. And then we move to the front page of the New Telegraph. Xenophobia, how to end attacks on Nigerians by ASU. Buhari orders immediate evacuation of Nigerians. Federal government to enroll returnees in social program. NITCOM, 640 eager to return from South Africa. And to the front page of the Daily Trust, the prices of food items, others rise as borders remain shut. Closure has reduced petrol smuggling and NPC. To the front page of the Daily Times, Ashura procession, DSS, police, shites set for showdown. Your planned procession, act of terrorism, DSS, police warn IMN. Annual march, a religious constitutional right, group claims. We'll be looking at that story shortly. And we'll move to the front page of the blueprint. Xenophobia, Buhari receives special envoy's report, orders evacuation of Nigerians. And we'll move on to the Vanguard now. South Africans plan ambush for returning Nigerians. Buhari orders immediate evacuation of Nigerians, receives a report from Special Envoy. 640 Nigerians eager to return, says Dabiri Rewa. NLC blames federal government. Will take appropriate action. A UTEL syrup on request to sue South Africa for $10 billion. Criminals behind attacks. Government has plans to end attacks. That's SA's Defense Police Minister speaking. And finally, on the front page of The Nation, Buhari to South Africa, stop attacks on Nigerians. Air peace to bring back 320 tomorrow. All right, let's go to the front page of the Daily Times, gentlemen. DSS police shot set for showdown as there's supposed to be an Ashura procession. And the DSS police warning the Islamic movement of Nigeria that their planned procession is an act of terrorism. How so, Charles?
I think that's taken to the extreme. Because the Ashura procession, I understand, is an annual ritual. But where I find it quite curious is why it has to come now. Well, as I said, it's there right, but the timing. If it is a
religious procession, yeah, there might be a time.
But the time is not auspicious.
What if this is the time that is meant?
Okay,
that
this is the time. Maybe it comes
had.
up every September or every October. But then the timing is not auspicious. Even because why? You've had this issue with Shiites procession turning violent. I also have this thing also attached to ex-Zaki, and you see ex-Zaki is still in detention. So I think what they should do, government has the responsibility to forestall any likely breakdown of law and order, which of course they are afraid that this might turn out. Don't also forget that even government also has its agencies that can gather information. So they could have gathered intelligence information that could have given them
but they have a constitutional right. Cyril.
We're talking about,
no, of course they do.
If
I'm not, I think that should be section 10 or so. There's a problem here. The federal government categorically said it was outlawing the IMN.
Yes, the IMN, yes.
And that it was outlawing criminality. But the federal government cannot and does not have any right, either by abrogation or subrogation, to outlaw the Ashura. A religious right is a religious right. You can't outlaw that. And if the federal government itself said that it could not outlaw the Shia sect, but it only outlawed the IMN, we now need to ask the issue of, is it that the members of the IMN, you have outlawed the IMN.
Part of this
procession. So if former member, whatever it is, if those people who are participants in the IMN want to participate in the Ashura, are you against the practice of the Ashura itself? Or those members who are in IMN, or the IMN itself?
But they are related. No, they are related.
This clarification,
they are related. They are related.
You know, because we're looking at it in the eyes of the law, we need to draw the lines. For me, I think that I have not hidden my reservations about the federal government's poor handling of the whole Shia issue. And so this is a celebration that dates back 1,300 years, relating to the event that took place after the death of Prophet Muhammad. They don't take these things lightly.
Of course.
And so if
years don't matter.
As if the federal government cannot outlaw the Ashura will be practiced both by Sunni and by Shia. What remains to be seen is how are they going to draw the distinction between members of known faces, you know, of the
that is if we have details
of course,
on
no,
them.
because the fact that the IMN is not the only share sect in Nigeria.
We do understand that, but again, what I'm saying is first that the length of time they practice it is immaterial when the country is faced with
the issue here,
when we say that procession may lead to violence, the government had the responsibility to say no, you can't hold it this year. So
like he said, this procession is practiced by Shiites. Now
Shiite or the Shiite, you do understand that. But
yes, but then
you have
IMN was the organization or sect that was proscribed. So why should you stop?
But I also said it, I'm also going to repeat that if the government's agencies have this intelligence report that it might lead to violence, bring up all that. I mean, the government had a responsibility to say, okay, no, you can't hold it this year. You could hold any other year. But I'm saying that's why I said the time is inauspicious because of the violence you have all around us. So
the timing is inauspicious.
The time is inauspicious. That's what I'm saying.
No, you see, you can't shift Christmas dates. You can't shift
Good
Friday.
No, wait. No, I'm not saying you're shifting Christmas Day, but if there's a procession attached to Christmas, hold on. If there's any procession attached to Christmas, government can stop that procession, but cannot stop Christmas. How about that?
Look.
Okay.
No, how about that?
Look.
All right, Cyril.
Government cannot stop the procession.
Oh. If the procession can lead to break down order,
but there are better ways of handling this.
That's who, by government or by them?
Both the government.
No, but
to ensuring that the procession is peaceful.
Oh, good. But the question I want to ask Siri, I don't understand the sanctity of that body or the procession as he had brought in Christmas. But what I'm saying first is that if there is an aspect of Christmas that is celebrated that the government understands is going to bring about breakdown of law, can government stop that aspect?
Do you even know the problem, Veronica? In this whole discussion, nobody is even talking about or proposing to say, because of what we've perceived to be foreseen dangers and so on, can we celebrate it this other way? Can we shift the day? Can we say...
No, that's why I'm saying
No, I'm not. Can we even say let's reduce the march to say maybe an hour or two? Can we march? Nobody's even talking about that. This tit for tat way of interaction does not lead to social cohesion, does not lead to any positive outcomes. And that is why we are concerned that, look, you need to be clear. Even the proscription of the IMN is on appeal. So there must be latitudes of what the law allows people to enjoy. Like I said, you can proscribe the IMN, but you cannot proscribe, you cannot outlaw the celebration of the Showdown. And that's why we are saying, are you saying that even if you have outlawed the IMN, those people who are known Shiites, should they not hold a procession today? That is illegal to say.
No, what I'm saying first.
As a matter of fact, the police and the DSS or any organ of government cannot sit down and make any extrajudicial pronouncement to say that there is any law backing them from stopping them.
No, what I'm saying,
I
will say the government doesn't have the responsibility to protect the lives and property of other people who are not Shiites.
That must be backed by law. And as far as there's no extant law,
and so that is why we are saying that the procession can be peaceful.
It's a nullity.
Well, exactly, but that's what I'm saying.
And ensuring that there's the presence of security.
Do you know what you call this kind of
procession?
Do you know what you call this institution where your police people cannot guide the procession? Do you know what you call that? That's anarchy.
All right. Gentlemen.
Well, I don't know where it got
from. Gentlemen, thank you for your time on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you.
Now let's move to the paper review now and see what the headlines are across Nigeria. I have with me in the studio journalist Charles Ideho as well as in-house analyst Cyril Abaku. Gentlemen, good morning. Nice to see you.
Thanks, Mike. Pleasure to be here.
Very good. Now let's begin with the News Direct. News Direct talks about fallout of xenophobic attacks and said Buhari orders evacuation of Nigerians from South Africa. That's what you see there. From there, New Telegraph is next, and it focuses on xenophobia as well. And New Telegraph says how to end attacks on Nigerians by ASU. That's ASU proffering solution there on the New Telegraph. And Buhari orders immediate evacuation of Nigerians. The federal government to enroll returnees in social program And Midcom, 640 eager to return from South Africa. That's what you see on the New Telegraph. Daily Trust is next. Now, prices of food items, others rise as borders remain shut. Closure has reduced petrol smuggling. NNPC is revealing this. I'm sure my guests will be interested in this. We'll talk about this shortly. From there, let's go to the Daily Times. Now, Daily Times says Ashura procession. DSS police shites set for a showdown. Your planned procession is act of terrorism. DSS police warn IMN. Annual match, religious constitutional right from group claims. Now from there, let's go to the blueprint. Blueprint is also focusing on xenophobia. Buhari receives special envoy's report, orders evacuation of Nigerians, and attacks threat to Africa's economic growth. 640 Nigerians eager to return, as the presidency revealing that. And Edo Deputy Governor hails Buhari's quick response. Edo Deputy Governor, that's Philip Schreibu. From there, let's go to the Vanguard newspaper now, and he is dwelling on the same thing. Vanguard says South Africans a planned ambush for returning Nigerians. Okay. An analyst has said it's a commercial headline. But that's what you see on the front page of the Vanguard. Now, The Nation is next now. The Nation newspaper says Buhari to South Africa, stop attacks on Nigerians, and air peace to bring back 320 Nigerians tomorrow. Okay, that's what you see on the front page of The Nation newspaper. Now, gentlemen, the headline on the Daily Trust talking about food prices will interest you, and it says prices of food item, others rise as borders remain shut. And on the other hand, NNPC is saying that closure has reduced petrol smuggling. Let me start with you, Charles, here. I wonder how this interests you one way or the other. A lot of people had cried out at first when the borders were partially closed or shut. They talked about a lot of food wasting, perishables especially, and a lot of them couldn't go, couldn't cross those going and those coming in. Yes. What's your concern now?
Well, I think there must be a balance. It is the absence of that balance that is bringing about how we are feeling it now. In any country, when you hit the when the prices of goods are affected, you hit the very nerve of the poor man, which is not good anywhere, because the poor man needs to be protected, which is why you find most countries they subsidize food, they subsidize housing, because that is exactly what
and agriculture.
Exactly. So the poor person who don't even have what I say a very robust means of living, your government has to take care of them. But here, if you closing the borders is a way of also protecting our own environment. But where we don't have this balance is that, on the one hand, we are saying, okay, we don't want these foreign goods to be smuggled into the system, but our production capacity is very low. If we have that, our production capacity is increased over time, then you can now begin to say, okay, when you shut down the borders, our production capacity can now benefit from it, but we're not having that.
Yeah, but this argument has always been on, whether it's the chicken and the egg situation as to, should we close the borders and encourage local production, or should we encourage production before we close the borders? And all of that argument keeps going on. But how do we take advantage of this right now, Cyril?
No, what I would say is that, I asked the question when this border closure thing came up. Are we reaching out? Are we engaging? Because it's not just about wielding the big stick. You can't wield it forever, frankly speaking. Tell yourself the truth. So our institutions, and then those on the other side in Benin Republic, are we talking government to government? Because certainly the borders will be opened. And then when they're open, so what happens next? How about the other illegal routes that are not manned? So these are questions that ought to be answered. But for the mere fact that these borders have been closed for this long and people are taking a hard hit, I think we need to start thinking. I mean, we must go beyond just closing borders. That's one. The other issue of closing borders and producing locally, that argument, I think, should be put to by now, because the fact is that you belong to a global economy. You must produce what is globally competitive. Otherwise, you will not your local producers will not even have anything to compete with. In the end, and then your buyers are stuck with what is being produced locally. Meanwhile, there could be better options overseas, and when your market is not open to competition, you won't be able to produce because in the end, you produce to export. That's how you earn foreign exchange and become a wealthy nation. And so if your target is not that, you won't...
All right, Charles, when it comes to local production, Nigeria, the way it is said to be the largest or the biggest market on the African continent. And as it is, local producers are not even able to meet the local demands of whatever products, whether it's from agriculture to rubber or to any product at all, even fabrics and so on.
I think where it also comes to bear is the fact that we have this taste for foreign products. Once that taste is still there, there's no way the local production can compete.
Can that taste be killed?
Yeah, but what I think the government should do is it's going to be a deliberate policy for us to say, okay, buy Nigeria, eat Nigeria.
But those slogans have been on for so many years,
let me say this.
For decades.
But it was only mouthed, but there's no policy to drive it. Okay. There's on the one hand, you just release a policy to say, okay, Nigeria is a greater nation. But there must be know why I'm saying so? If I tell you, if a government in Nigeria, for instance, will say, okay, all cars driven or ridden by all the directors in all the place, and then close one. Yes. We must be, but if, for instance, as Obasanjo was there that time, the former president was wearing Ashoke and Adire, and it's okay, everybody, all of it, whether banks or so, mind you, sitting there will not wear suit, as they done in India. What they do in India is that once you are given a government appointment, you are driving an Indian-made car. And that is what is driving the Indian technology. And you can say India is not producing flat sheet, which is a major component of car manufacturing. Yeah. So unless it's not just a policy, but once we push up a policy, there must be another policy that will have to drive it. Giving an example, if you are telling me, Charles, you are the head of production here or head of don't wear suit and see you in suit. So the policy there, but
the idea of the people's freedom and rights.
No, it's not about freedom. Government can run it and run away with it.
Can we even take just
government can run it and run away with it?
See, there is just one thing.
Okay.
Let's even pick a product like rice. Right. We have enough rice to go round, but now the borders are short. You don't have a transport system that can convey, I don't think there was even any prior discussion as to how locally produced rice can be, because price of things now
can be circulated.
But price of things are going up. So it means that the policy is not coherent, and that's what he's talking about. You need, I honestly wonder why
maybe this is a structure that is needed. Maybe a structure that can fine-tune seamlessness in the market.
The policy needs a structure to drive it.
Because the fact is, in the end, what you produce gives you more pride. Once it comes to national pride, let the president.
Is it also possible?
Let the president come, say have some kind of roundtable meeting and say we are meeting Nigerian rights with people. I encourage everybody to eat that video.
We saw the former president Olusegun Obasanjo drinking Gary. Drinking Gary.
So
we've seen former President Goodluck Jonathan eating local
cassava bread.
Exactly.
So you see, do it and sustain
just a media thing.
Do it and sustain. No. Do it and sustain it. Make it free for some time. No, Charles, you see.
But is it also possible that some of these prices that are going up are artificial?
No, they may not be artificial because in economics, you have the demand, the supply. All of them, they are all warring against each other.
Okay.
So, look, I think around 2015 or 2017, 2015 or so, the production capacity of Nigeria was about, for rice, was about 5.38 or so metric tons. The thing went up to about 5.8 now, which is where we are. But that is still very inadequate. What I think the government should do is that, as Siri said, you can do government-to-government interaction. The Cotonou port that Nigerians have become very, very attractive. Government can go to, okay, we want to supervise the importation of rice, so many tons to come through Cotonou. That will now drive even the smugglers out of the market. You can have a government relationship with Thailand Thailand, we know for the next 4 years, we want to increase our own production capacity from 5.8 metric tons to around 12 metric tons. If our own is 20, the demand is 20 metric tons, you can do that, and then you bring it
directly. But exactly, that's what I want to ask. Can the state directly be involved in all of that?
Because we can. You know, so you know what I'm saying. So
can I remind you?
Why did we build silos all over Nigeria? It's for us to say that when there's glut, you save them. When there's scarcity, you put it into the market and have a control mechanism.
Yeah, but when it comes to the supply of food production and all of that, if you don't allow private sector drive it,
no, you can't. But you can lead them.
But,
you can lead them.
Okay,
you lead them. You give them licenses.
All right,
Mike, I have a question.
But we have to
just one question.
Okay, ask the question.
Assuming this artificial price hike, this price hike was artificial, how does government hope to fight back?
All right. That's a big question.
The answer is let's hang it. But we don't have the time.
Let's hang it in the air.
I have the answer, but we don't have the time.
Yeah, but we hang it in the air. So, thank you very much, Cyril Abaku, for coming on the program. Charles Ideho, thank you very much. Thank you.